Well, it is Worlds Day 5, and unfortunately CLG has not advanced out of groups. I'm joined right now by Aphromoo following the loss. Now, Aphromoo, maybe you can take me through the day and let me know what was kind of going on behind the scenes with CLG, as the match has progressed.
Oh, today.
Yes.
Oh, today. All right. Coming out first game versus the wild card team, Albus Knox. I think I played Nami. That's right. We played Lucian, Nami, and they had Bard, Graves, and I'm pretty sure their entire team comp outscaled us. And we had to early game, the mid game, perfectly execute to win, but they won the early game. And off of that, they're really easy to go tower to tower. We didn't really have any CC besides Elise Cocoon and then Nami, and that's about it. So, and they I think we lost to Victor today twice, and back in the Rocks game too. So, Albus Knox though, pretty damn good team. They got out of groups, first team to get out of our group. So, pretty sure it's unexpected for most people, but playing in our group, they were really really good.
So how about G2 and Rocks?
And G2 and Rocks, G2. Talked to Mithy before our first game on day one, and he was talking about how he's really nervous, and I thought that was really odd since Mithy's, renowned player. People respect him as a top support in Worlds, and he was pretty nervous, so I was like, maybe, something's a little bit off, and, we have a good chance of winning, and just so happened that, G2 went 1-5 in our group. Pretty unexpected, but I know they're a good team, so I think their mentality was just a little off, and playing against them, though, was really fun. And then Rocks, I think between Albus, Rocks, and CLG, it's pretty close for all three teams to get out of the group after, the first 3 days that happened. And sorry, I'm sick, so
No, that's fine.
my bad.
Me too.
Are you?
Yeah, I had a cold.
Oh, that's unlucky, man. Feel better.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. All right. And yeah, versus Rocks is pretty close, and it's just all about who commits first. A lot of picks people were picking up. Alistar in general. Victor's coming in as well. Caitlyn Bottom, Poppy Top, and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure we're the first team to play most of those, besides Mono and Alistar and stuff like that, and not Victor. And it's been fun. Group stages sucks that we didn't make it out, but congratulations to Rocks and Albus.
What do you think of reflecting out at the end of the day on CLG's pick and ban throughout the day? Were there mistakes or anything? Because especially even that first game, it felt like the team comp was a little less cohesive than maybe it could have been.
Yeah, I would agree with the first game draft. It was a little wonky for us. So even though we lost going into the last few games of the day, we definitely fixed it up a little bit. But I would say that Albus's coaching staff did a really good job for picking bans. And it was surprising that they, would first pick Sivir in our game. Yeah. And then I forget what their other rotation was. But they definitely changed their picks a lot throughout the tournament. So Liquid in general, he's bringing out Brand, Tarek, Tom Kench, Bard, and most teams are trying to ban him out, but he just has one after the other. It's like a jack in the box. You don't know what's coming out next. So I thought that's really, really good for their team to have all these pocket picks that people have to ban out, and it opens up draft for you a lot. And Albus definitely had the edge there.
As a support player, what do you think of Liquid's champion pool and his sort of decision making, all that stuff? I mean, it's just from one support, kind of evaluating another.
I would say it's similar to what I had at MSI, playing range supports in general. So like Soraka, and then people had to ban Bard at MSI as well. So you're pulling out bans left and right for your team, and it actually helps so much because the rest of your team, it opens up their champion pools and like their tier 1 picks. If they have to force like 2 to 3 bans on you, and the crit has no problem, taking the hit, and he can still play, his backup champions just as well as like his main champion. So I thought
he's picking unconventional ones even, like Brand.
I don't think it's unconventional. Usually with Brand is the only pocket pick that's unconventional.
Sure.
Tarek used to be in meta, early on in the NA summer split as well with the Vladimir comps, Olaf comps, and stuff like that. So it's just about the right place to pick it, and I feel like their draft allows him to set up where he can have a really good pick, even though he gets banned out. And usually they save bottom lanes support pick for usually last rotation or sometimes last pick and stuff like that. So I think it's really good what they're doing.
I've heard whispers of all the stuff that's been going on in scrims behind the scenes and all that kind of thing where, like some people are saying like, oh, G2 is actually stomping everyone and, or TSM is stomping everyone, or like the wildcard teams couldn't get scrims apparently originally. Now that you're out of the tournament, and I'm sure you don't want to, ruin any trust or anything like that, but is there anything interesting that was surprising you behind the scenes that played out today, or anything in general that you want to discuss?
I think the only new pick was Tarek, but they played that versus Rocks, so thank God it wasn't us.
Right.
Other than that, to me, usually when you come to international competition, it's like a circle where you have your regions and they're all placed on the spectrum of the circle in some different spot. And then when you play against other regions and start screaming them a lot and stuff like that, then everyone will group up together on the same spectrum. And then it'll start going around where what is the most OP. So you see most people, the early rotation Karma for huge bottom lane pressure. And now it's not that good. You can play Alistar into it, and it's perfectly fine because you make the lane go even.
Right.
So now it's not good, to early pick Karma anymore because you don't want to play against Alistar. And now Caitlyn as the AD carry is probably the best pick as of now. And then basically that's just how it goes. So we're going to see different picks. Probably it's going to move away from the Caitlyn Alistar type.
It's like a rock, paper, scissors thing almost?
Yeah, it's like a rock, paper, scissors thing. So people just have to scrim, figure it out against all the other regions. And I think by the time we get to semifinals and finals, it'll be a lot different than it is now. But if you are, let's say you're a type of player like Lacrit and you have your pocket picks, it's really hard to draft around those. And usually the teams that have that type of depth through their champion pool will come out on top.
Is there anything that you want to say to CLG fans or anything like that about general performance from the team or anything along those lines?
We had fun playing out here. Definitely Group A. Pretty tough group with Rocks and ANX, and most people were surprised by ANX. But
and were you surprised by them? Because you've mentioned most people. I mean, this is first time they've ever gotten out of a wildcard team has ever gotten out of groups, right? So
yeah. No, not really surprised by them because they had the underdog factor where they didn't boot camp at all, right? So I think it's just different types of practice that you can do to prep for international competition. You don't necessarily need to go to Korea and boot camp to be good, because if you can prep by yourself, no one knows what you're going to do, and then you bring it out and just focus on your team play. That's usually what it all comes down to. It's still good enough to come and just whoop some ass as we saw here. So playing against ANX wasn't really unexpected, even though most people would give the consensus that, oh Jesus, lost to a wild card team.
Right.
But it's important not to underrate all 16 teams here, and they play really well. So I thought our group was really fun to play. Congratulations to Roxy and Exton once again, and CLG fans, thanks for supporting us. We got 3 wins this time.
yeah.
This time around, instead of how many wins did we get last split?
Not as many, I don't think.
I think we got
Last Worlds, you mean?
2 wins.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 1 win increase, not bad.
Yeah.
But
And you had one more loss.
and we had 1 more loss. That's true.
Yeah.
So yeah. Thanks for watching this, guys, and really appreciate the support. And make sure, you guys support the other NA teams out here. Even if you don't like them, it's really important that, we give support to C9 and TSM as well, because they're coming up. So
I'm just going to sneak this question here at the end because you kind of brought up the bootcamp thing. Do you regret bootcamping in Korea? Do you think that this is overrated? I've heard that some of the NA players were sort of saying like, oh, it's like we're in our own region and yet we have to fly all the way to Korea and do this bootcamp thing and show all the strats that we have and like let them adapt to our meta. Do you think that is an artifact at all that shouldn't persist next year?
I think less teams will go to Korea based on what will happen at Worlds. So let's say ANX goes super far into the tournament. Most teams are going to be like, you don't really need, to go to the top teams in Korea and scrim them because, you can develop your own meta. And if you have the confidence to do that and just bring it to the tournament, I think it's a lot more exciting and consistent, I would say, than boot camping in Korea, because usually you go to Korea for better players, but if you're going to the tournament, doesn't that mean you're good too, right? But I mean, it's whatever.
You guys should go boot camp in CIS next year.
Yeah, start scrimming against ANX to prepare. That's true. Yeah. But I think boot camping will become less of a thing on the upcoming League of Legends international competitions. So,
I mean, are you burned out?
Am I burned out? Not necessarily. I'm just sick, so
Yeah.
that's about it.
Well, I hope you feel better.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Aphromoo, for the interview. Sorry you didn't make it on past groups, but it was exciting to watch you play this year at Worlds. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage of all things Worlds here at Yahoo Esports.